Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video, and this is going to be Alliance War Season 53, War Number 5, Matrix against 10 PLN. And today we have another double war with Ghost on one account and Ultron on the other. Although we do have a couple features from some other champions. I believe I have one Tigra fight. And in the war on my main, there was one fight I was supposed to use Hood for that I end up changing my mind last minute and using Ghost instead. So actually all my fights on my main are with Ghost. Let me just skip ahead here because I think I just went to buy a couple boosts. But we're starting out here on Path 7, Section 1. We have this Baron Zemo on this damage reflection node. And as long as you're not running Resonate, you don't throw specials here, there's really nothing you can do wrong. You're just going to bait his SP1s, only kill with basics, no specials, and you're going to be completely fine. I'm sure you could actually throw special 3 if it were to kill the defender, but I don't know if damage gets... Oh no, actually it does. Damage from SP3 does reflect, because if you parry the defender and then throw a special 3 on stun reflection nodes, the defender will die first, and then it will reverse them being dead and kill you. Which is something that has happened to me before in war. It's very unfortunate. Not something you'd think would happen, but yeah. So theoretically, if I were to throw special 3 and the SP3 killed, he would instead survive the special 3, even if he were at 0% health, if the damage reflection were to kill me. It's a really weird thing. I think it just calculates the node's reflection damage before it processes the defender taking damage because of order of operations, which is just very odd. But yeah, Baron Zemo, very, very easy fight. Hardly anything to say there. Next fight here, this is really the only fight I was worried about on my main. And this is going to be a Dragon Man on the armor break node. And the reason this is such a good placement, obviously, is because whenever Dragon Man is armor breaked, he is going to degen you. And we were taking about 700 a tick, or 1400 damage per second. Quite a lot of damage, despite the fact that that was a quick 10, not even 15 second nuke. And let's go on to Section 2 here. We have another tactic fight against this Dani Moonstar, and we are just going to go for an SP2. Not healing, because at this point it's not really worth it. I don't think I could do the full 20k, and I don't want to waste health, and I know there's no universe where I die to this fight. Unfortunately, I did get pushed to Special 3 with my first SP2, despite the fact that I'm only running 150% tech powerback boost, and this is a rank 3 7-star defender. It's just Ghost hits so hard it doesn't really matter. And unfortunately here, this Dani Moonstar is going to throw the L2, and while I do know how to consistently full dex the L2, I did get a good amount of practice when I believe she was one of the SOS, one of the summer champions, and there was a node where there was some fight against her recently. I don't remember exactly what it was. But yeah, I do know how to dex the L2, but the reason I didn't go for the dex is because in the event that I happen to fail it, which is probably like a 5% chance, I just die instantly, and I knew it wouldn't kill me on the block. So there was literally no reason to dex it. So here, this is the fight here that I was going to use Hood for, Maestro on Hazard Shift. I have used Hood on Hazard Shift quite a lot, and I do know how to do it. The reason I didn't do it is because, one, I didn't want to have to switch off suicides for one fight and then just back on for the next fight, and also I just wanted the fight to be done as fast as possible. So here we're going to get a bunch of Hazard Shift on us, and then we're just going to throw off that L2, which does a lot of damage, almost killing him, and yeah, we just need to get to another special. So I didn't hit in there because I wanted to get a little bit more power gain, but yeah, here we're just going to throw the L1 right away, and since he cannot glance special attacks unless it is a special 3 that is thrown on the same frame as a basic hit that is glanced, the fight is just over. Here we are moving straight to the boss island because I was actually not assigned any hazard shift fights. I did see that white tiger on 44, and if I were the one assigning the war, I would have assigned it to myself because that's a 15-second fight. But in the event that the first SB2 leaves white tiger at like 10% and then she power gains up to a special 3, I do understand the risk, but I trust myself enough to be able to do that fight. But whoever did take that fight, I believe it was a Cassie Lang, they did solo it, so I'm not really worried. But I would have been able to take it on the same SP1 boost that I'm taking this fight on. This is node 48 Bishop. It is a rank 3 Bishop. This is a fight I've done many times, probably over 5 times since the new map. Well, it's not really that new at this point, but this map. And we are just going to go for some L2s. Try to go for medium lights when we can to avoid placing too much prowess on him. But we mostly just care about nuking here. Our L2 is not quite getting us to, getting us enough power back to get back to an L2, but it doesn't matter here because this third L2 is going to kill, and we still had a few charges left before he gets to 15. I've gotten to 14 charges on that fight before when he wasn't being nice and hitting into my phase, but I've never hit power gain on that fight, which is really nice. So now we'll go over to my alt. We have an Ultron war, like I said earlier, with 1 Tiger fight thrown in. And this is Path 3, Section 1, Node number 3. This is one of the armor up nodes. And obviously Sinister cannot gain an armor up, but the reason he is here is because I think it was Venom on the second node, and if you get bad luck, Venom starts out with an armor up, and good luck soloing that fight if you don't have someone that can deal with the node. And I don't have someone that can deal with the node, so we decided to split the path just to make it a little bit easier. In hindsight, I should have baited special 3 or special 1s in this fight, and it is going to delay the fight quite a bit. You'll notice there's like a 10-second time there and still wasting time where I'm just not able to hit him because I'm stupid. And I pushed L2, and here's going to throw L1, which is really, really nice. It does help with the speed of the fight, and when I am able to hit him, I'm hitting pretty hard. But yeah, because I'm a dum-dum and I wasted a bunch of time, this is going to be a little bit of a longer fight than I would have liked. Here, throwing the L2 just to get a little bit of damage off, get some nice DOT going. Unfortunately, I threw the L2 while I had 0 degens on the defender, so I did not gain a cauterize passive, but that's completely fine because the fight goes down very shortly after. So I did have to wait a little bit after, so I started up a new recording. There it is. And now, I don't know why it's on Tiger right now. It's probably just because Ultron lost a little bit of health, so she was the recommended champ that the game goes with. So here we're throwing on our boost. I didn't boost for the Sinister, one, because it was like one of the most slam dunk easy matchups in the world, especially with the tactic going on currently, giving you the heal block. But 2, I didn't know that the person I was splitting the path with was going to clear right away. Because I cleared, and then I tagged them, and I was like, yo, it fights down, take Venom whenever you want. And then they replied like 2 minutes later saying Venom's down. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go do the rest of my fights now. If I had known that, I would have boosted for that fight, made it a little bit faster, but it doesn't really matter that much. We have this Chavez, and I do have Mr. Fantastic as the 3rd member of my team, and he is there so that I can give pre-fights for, I believe it's Node 50 Enchantress. I think that's what I was giving pre-fights for. It might have been someone else, because I don't know. I just don't remember. And I didn't know if MD was going to be a problem, because obviously in this fight you also have the heal block, which reduces basically all forms of passive power gain. It's intended to be for the global, but it also does work for Mystic Dispersion. So I figured I'd have a reasonably good ability to control it, but I wanted to throw on just the Petrified just in case, because again, you can only place 3 Mr. Fantastic pre-fights on one fight, and you have 4 in a quest, unless you win fights to gain more, but you have 4. So I had 4 to use, and I only needed 3 for one fight. I figured I'd use the last one here. This matchup here, this is a rank 3 7-star Domino on the EMP modification, and this was actually something that I didn't know going into the start of this tactic, and that is that Ultron also reduces passive shocks and passive incinerates. For some reason, I thought it was only damage. It was only the damaging debuffs that he reduced, but yeah, he does in fact reduce passives as well, which make it really nice because this is a very common placement. In fact, I end up taking Path 2 almost every single war due to people placing tactic champs here and there being very few tactic attackers that are properly equipped to deal with it. There, I just didn't notice that she'd gone lucky. I do know that she reduces stun duration while she's lucky. I genuinely just forgot to check if she was lucky before I charged the heavy. Got lucky because she did not hit me, but even if she did, it wouldn't have posed a massive threat in the fight. Up to this point, you can see I'm taking a little bit of damage from the shock, but it leaves so fast that it's barely a factor. I think, yeah, I lost more health to that fight from crit fail than I did than I did my the shocks from the node. So here we have Bishop. Bishop on node 39. This is a fight I've probably taken 5 or 6 times this season. It's a pretty straightforward matchup. In fact, I took it in the current war that's going on right now as well. And they're really, as long as you just keep the tactic up, you reduce the power gain from the power snack and from the global, then there's not really too much to this fight. There is power sting, but generally what I like to do is I like to prioritize pushing the defender to a special 2, so if I have to take 1 or 2 power stings per fight to make that happen, that just makes my life a lot easier. Although in the event that Bishop's being annoying like right here and throws a special 1, not the end of the world, because I just ignore the incinerates because they expire so fast that they don't really matter that much. I'm literally taking like maybe 3 ticks from each one. But yeah, like I said, push to L2, block it. I always just block the first hits and then dex the rest. Although right there, if my evade is up, then I can just let the auto evade take care of it. Because that does not activate the power snack, and if I can avoid activating it, I will. And then here, luckily, I am able to combo in and get my heavy attack off with the Cauterize passive up, which is amazing because that just gives me a bunch of extra damage. Which does actually add to the damage of the degens because it is modified attack rate that the degens are placed with, which is also why throwing your specials with a Cauterize up increases the damage of the degens that come from the specials, and vice versa with the heavy attack and the specials. It does work both ways, and they are 2 very viable strats because I bet there is statistically a way to know which is better between throwing a heavy attack and then getting your SP2 damage increased from having the degens up, or throwing your special attack first and then having the DOT damage increase. I'm sure there is objectively a correct answer, but Ultron does so much damage that it doesn't really matter. And here, this is our only Tigra fight. This is node 42 Gorr. And while I do personally prefer Hood for this matchup, just because I've done that fight so many more times, I don't have a duped Hood on my ult. I only have a unduped 7-star Hood, so I decided to go with Tigra just for this one fight, and I know that as soon as I get to my L2 for the second time, this Hood is just done. So, lost a little bit of health there, not too worried. It was very, very clean, very fast fight, especially for punching up a rank. And it looks like we have one more fight here. We're going to be taking on this Havok on Hazard Shift. Pretty easy fight. Ultron deals with the bleed by being immune to it, and he reduces the duration of the shock. So this is really just an Ultron versus Havok, which is, again, a fantastic matchup. This node obviously has some shrug off with the power gain, but that is going to get taken care of with the tactic. And yeah, just kill this fight as fast as you can, and there's not that much that can go wrong here. Just going to play some degens. You want to be careful to only throw your heavy attacks while the shrug off node is on cooldown, because the node removes all debuffs that are placed at the same time. So if I have, for example, 4 charges here and I throw my heavy attack, it would place 4 degens, but instead of just eating up one of them and then the rest of them sticking, because they're all inflicted in the exact same moment, they are all eaten up. So here, you'll notice I'm not going to throw my heavy attack until I see that the power gain is clearly on pause. And for this node specifically, having the striker is really nice, because if you don't have an easy opportunity to throw in a heavy attack, you can just do a little combo into a striker into a heavy when you know that the node is on cooldown, and that works really well. But also, Ultron just has fantastic damage output. I mean, I'm not even running the suicide masteries here, and he did very well for a champion that produces critical damage rating like Havok. And that is all for that war. I actually really enjoyed this war. It was a very fun war to play, and this was a very fun video to make. But I have not been making a lot of videos this season, and truthfully, the reason is that my phone is old and can't keep that many recordings on it. So I'd say at any given time, I can't have more than like an hour and a half maybe worth of screen recordings on my phone, and I just have to constantly delete them. So if I don't have time to make videos, in order to record the fights for my alliance, because my alliance does mandate that you record every single fight, which I think is totally reasonable and a good idea, I have to delete the older videos before the next war starts. So at this point, I have the recordings for wars 6, 7, and 8, but war number 9 actually failed to screen record because I didn't have enough storage. So I'm going to try to get these videos out as much as possible, and I want to get back on pace where I'm uploading the wars at the very latest a day after the war ends, or ideally the same day the war ends, because that's what I did for so long, and I know I can do it. I just need to get back in the habit. But yeah, I will try to put out war videos, because truthfully, I really enjoy making them, and I love being able to provide this content for you guys. But Matrix started off this season not too hot. We started off 4 losses in a row, although we did win this war. So we are now 1-4 on the season. Between my 2 accounts, I have a total of 2 deaths, both of which are on my main, none of which are on my alt yet. But I do die in war number 6 on my alt, so that's just wonderful. And my PSR this season combined between the 2 accounts, I have not calculated yet, so whatever is in the description is going to be correct. And my main account has a PSR of 29 out of 31 solos, or 94%, and my alt account has 26 out of 26 solos, or 100%. So that's going to be all for today. Hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day, everyone.